everybody went up to Yashankar and said, who's this girl? Just Pakistan se laaye hai, nayi ladki hai. And then I just lifted the sari till here. I don't know why. And I then sat like that. I sat home for 1 year. 1 saal I didn't work. Well, motherhood has happened to me in many ways.
And in this episode of Itni Starry Baatein, I have with me Divya Dutta.
Hi.
Welcome to the Quint.
Thank you, Veera.
Do you remember the first time you entered a film set and what was that like 25 years back?
Excited child, still am actually, nothing changed. But I was literally jumping. I remember Sunil Shetty was shooting with me, my first scene. I was like looking in awe at him and I'm like, God, I'm shooting with Sunil Shetty. And I didn't sit all night. I was just standing. It was a night shoot. And it was barish ka sequence kar rahe the, a typical filmy hero-heroine sequence. And I was pura gila. But all I was doing was just looking and happy. And Sunil was very amused and he just went to the director. He says, heroine to achhi hai, lekin baithti kyun nahi hai? Something that you really wanted all your life when it comes true, you really want to absorb every bit of it, every ounce of it.
You know, when we see your filmography since then until now, did Divya Dutta always wanted a career like this, or she had thought of something else and it turned, jo bhi hota hai achhe ke liye hota hai, but turned out to be something else?
So I think with like all girls and 25 years back, it was more of a stereotypical heroine. And I wanted to wear those chiffon saris. I did wear a lot of them. I did dance and I pranced around trees and I did those item numbers. I loved it. I really did. मैं बहुत धमाल के अभी मैं पुराने गाने देखती हूँ तो I really love that. But I'm glad it wasn't like a typical launch for me that I yearned for that time. Because I think I became like more of a clay which could be molded into any kind of a role. Which today I think is what do you say, everyone wants it that way. So earlier in the day they wouldn't know where to place me. They would say, मतलब ये तो सब रोल कर रही है, इसको कौन सी इमेज दे, हीरोइन है कि ये सपोर्टिंग है कि वैम्प है कि क्या है. So अब now I think all the girls want to do the similar stuff and it feels right that what your heart told you was right that time actually has borne fruit for me even now.
Was there any point in your life where you thought that ये जो directors और producers मुझे stereotype कर रहे हैं, मतलब जो भी script आ रहा है वो typical हो गया है, और rejections and saying no had become like a thing, or was it difficult to say no?
नहीं, one thing I would say, I would give it to myself is I didn't mind saying no, and it isn't easy to say no. Yeah, everyone likes to like typecast you in a role that you've done well, and the film is a hit. And I remember when I did Veer-Zaara, my first commercial film. So itna pyar mila, and at the premiere, so everybody went up to Yashankar and said, who's this girl? Just Pakistan se laaye hai, nayi ladki hai. So after Veer-Zaara, I was flooded with offers. मतलब वो लड़की ऐसी और मैं बड़ी खुश. लेकिन जब स्क्रिप्ट आया तो पंजाबी रोल, vivacious role, Shabbo type role, I was like, इनको और कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है मेरे अंदर. So I sat home for 1 year. 1 saal I didn't work. My mother thought I was a fool. She said the best of banners, the best of money, best of co-stars, and I said no, because the reason is that if I get bored doing something myself, it's going to translate to my audience as well. Then I was called for Dilli Chhe by Rakesh Mehra, and he called me and he said, I want you to play Jalebi. So I said, is it a Punjabi role? He says, no. I said, then it must be vivacious. He's saying, no. So I said, then why are you calling me? So he was very amused. He says, because I think you can carry it off well. And when I heard Jalebi was a distinctly different role, sensuous, local hottie who everyone eyed, and she's an untouchable. So when I did that and everyone loved me in that film and everyone started giving me those kind of, I said, ये तो अच्छा किया मैं यार, इसको तोड़ते रहो. फिर भाग मिल्खा भाग की तो I became everyone's sister. Yeah. And then I was like, now what to do? Then I called up Sriram Raghavan. I said, you have a role in your film, which is Badlapur. I said, there's one more heroine in your film and I want to do it. He was so amused. He says, I mean, I didn't know him at all personally. So he just thought, ये बंदी में बहुत passion है. So he says, do you know the story? I said, no. Like, then why you want to do the film? I said, because, and I go by my gut. I said, because the moment I saw the write-up of your film, I knew I belonged to this film. So he said, okay, give me some time, and I'm very surprised why I didn't think about you. And after a week, he called me, says, you're on. So it was nice to keep breaking. I don't mind asking somebody if I really think I really want to do something. But most of the work comes itself.
And the badass that you're playing in Dhakaad, oh my god. So tell me, what was, when the script came to you, ऐसे ही हाँ?
वो एक्चुअली ऐसे ही जो हाँ होती है ना, वो बेस्ट हाँ होती है, क्योंकि वो गट से आती है एकदम. उसमें आप ज़्यादा जब देयर इज अ सेइंग व्हिच सेज जब सोच गहरी होती है तो इरादे कमज़ोर हो जाते हैं. सो जो इंस्टेंट आपका हाँ आता है ना, वो दिल बोलता है कि यू विल एंजॉय. So Rezi called me and Mukesh Chabra, both of them. Mukesh is a friend. He called. He says, I have this very dear friend of mine is making a film and he wants to meet you. So when I met Rezi, he said, this is the role, Rohini. I want you to play the antagonist. So I was like, me. So I had done antagonist roles, but something like that, it was like I mean, she's a gangster and she's a mafia. So when he narrated, I had a smile on my face. I was like, I would love to do this, but tell me, why did you choose me? He says, no, I want only you to do this. But the journey was so much fun, because when you're doing something that you haven't done before, it was lovely. I remember when we were doing the poster shoot, and so I was wearing the sari and I was like, you're looking very sexy, very nice. It's like, okay. And then I just lifted the sari till here. I don't know why. And I then sat like that. So that, they said, just hold this on like that and let's just shoot. And that, I think people really liked very much. And that body language became Rohini for me. So it's so amazing how a role takes over from you, the person.
You know, that's one thing I wanted to come to, that, you know, do you take back your character home?
No. I would be like a, what do you say, disaster had I taken all these strong roles back home. No. But sometimes subconsciously they do travel back with you. I was doing this film called, what was that? Sleeping Partner. It was on marital rape. And Sanjay Kapoor was with me in that film. And we were laughing, joking, masti and all that. And then we did the scene and he was very sensitive and took care that I was comfortable and all that. Everything happened okay and I came back home pretty normal. In the night, I could not sleep. I was restless and just moving around, and then suddenly I burst into cry. It was like, what just happened? And much later, I did realize that I think I had carried the role back with me. But sometimes subconscious, it just happens. But I have kind of more often than not learned to snap off. I'll tell you one instance which is in my book, the one that I wrote, The Stars in My Sky. I was doing one of my first films, Bagban, with Mr. Bachchan, and I was playing this nasty, mean bahu to him, and I am like the biggest Bachchan fan, and like many others, I think he was the reason I came to the industry. So every day I would go and say a very chirpy, very excited, "Good morning, sir," and then mouth those nasty, mean lines to him. So one fine day, I think after a week passed, I came home and I started howling. So my mom said, "Kaam acha nahi hua." I said, "Nahi, acha hua." So she said, "Then why are you crying?" I said, "I don't know." And the next day I went. I was sulking and I said, "Good morning, sir." So, and when I was hating being mean to him and I could not disconnect that is just a role. So I think he realized that. Ye bachchi se ho nahi raha hai. She can't disconnect. So he just called me, "Come here." So I just went up to him and he said, "Come sit down. आप जानती हैं आप मेरे साथ बिल्कुल अच्छा behave नहीं कर रही हैं." Suddenly he was very defensive. I said, "No sir, it's a role." So he just smiled. So he, without saying anything, made me realize that you're just doing a role. After that, I think I just learnt it and put it in my head that if Mr. Bachchan has taught you something, it better go with you all your life.
Let's come to your personal life. Now, you know, it has been 4 months that you have shifted into this beautiful house. Tell me, how did you find this house? What was the process, the dream house, setting it up, because it looks beautiful. So tell me all about it.
So, I mean, we have a very lovely house in Juhu, and that's where my mom was and my pet was. But then I live with my brother and his children are growing up, so we needed a bigger space. So we started finding house hunting everywhere and couldn't really find a place. So then I went shooting, and my brother would always want me to see if I like the place, because I like openness and I like trees around and all that stuff. So I said, "Kuch nahi mil raha, I'm going to shoot." So he then suddenly sent me, he said, "Listen, this is pretty urgent. I'm sending you a video. He needs a yes or no in a day." So I was like, "What?" And because I wasn't, I said, "How?" He says, "No, now you see, you want it." And then the moment I saw the video, I said, "I want this house." So yeah, I think, and then dheere dheere the pandemic started off, and so it was on hold. And then dheere dheere, I think everyone took their spaces and, you know, put our own personal touches, even though I had an interior decorator friend, she's a friend of mine, Monica. So she helped me with it. Whatever I wanted, she executed it for me.
And people who don't know, the moment I entered this house, I met these two little cuties who were, you know, slowly moving around here and there, hiding from me. You know, when you are an aunt, you are also more of a mother to them.
True.
Because you're living with them. Please tell me how motherhood happened to you.
Well, motherhood has happened to me in many ways. You know, it's been, I was mother to my own mother. I think there happens a role reversal, where somewhere your parent becomes your child. And that, I think, was the most beautiful one. Then I became mother to my pet. She was like a companion who just was with me when I needed somebody after my mom. And I mean, I would say what a timing she had when she thought now she's good enough, she can hold on, she just left. And now these two little brats, I think. So it's a lovely role that I have in their life, is we do so much fun. I find my childhood in them. I pamper them crazy. I think I am going to spoil them, and I'm going to get a big scolding from my brother and my bhabhi. And it's nice to be a part of their growing up.
Thank you so much, Divya.
Thank you.
And thank you for inviting us into this
My
beautiful
pleasure.
house.
We meet soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.